Welcome back to Broad's League Heroes, where we have, in the bottom right, it's GoTime, and in the top left, finally building his second SCV, it's Cyiande. We'll see who he'll be killing, whether it's himself or his opponent in this game, but we do have almost a wall in to kick things off. And our gas guys are behind, so going for about 64% of what you would see as a standard Terran build. On the other side, a wall at the front. The probe will stand by and wait for that pylon to finish. Walling against Terran, oftentimes frowned upon, because, fun fact, Terran units are ranged, but GoTime waits for no man. It's always GoTime. Alright, the wall, very close to being a perfect wall. We'll have to see if Cyanaide's going to be able to come back from this. Come back. Okay, that's not what I meant. The classic Gateway Forge. There it is. Alright, this is a staple strategy. Of course, you have the gateway, so you pretend like you're going to tech up, and then you get the forge because you realized it's just easier to sit behind a bunch of cannons, and your opponent probably doesn't know how to deal with it. It's not for a rush. This is a defensive gateway forge. A classic tactic. On the other side, Cyanide is filling in the gaps in the wall. Of course, this is a government contractor, so it's going to be over budget, and it's going to be behind schedule, and also it's not even a wall. It's more like a fence, and that fence has a bunch of holes in it, so things can get through. Because when the Protoss, they don't send their best, okay? They send their Adept Shades. They send their Charge Lots. They send their Dark Templar, and they're gonna murder your hard-working blue mineral SCVs, okay? So, let's see if they can complete that wall. Now, of course, we got the cannons on the other side. As you know, Terran has no options with which to circumvent that. The gateway, mostly for show. It's a gateway to maybe playing the later game if we get there. We'll find out. As we see in the APM tab, nearly 36 actions per minute combined. Let's go to Cyanide. Cyanide may have taken a little bit too much of his own medicine. The Cyanide Action Cam brought to you by Enron. I got no follow-up there, but there you go. It'll make you want to kill yourself. Okay. Another barracks on the way. The orbital is done. We've got +1 attack. These two zealots are gonna be decked out. Another pylon on the way. He's not near the supply block, but better to be safe. I'm sorry. Another depot as well. We've got seemingly random locations. Is there a method to the madness? No, just madness. This pylon doesn't quite wall the probes in and block out the mineral patch, but it's not too far away from it. Okay, and if we look in the vision, we see Cyanide has not ventured outside of his second base, but, not to be outdone, GoTime also has no vision. The map is dark and full of Terrans, okay? It's much easier to just build the cannons, sit behind your walls, isolationist policies for either side. We'll have to see how that pans out. Of course, siege tanks. The only thing this walls is a siege tank, it does seem. This barracks very close, but the tech lab just isn't into it. All right, let's just back off a little bit. But a siege tank, another tank on the way. We're going for a starport as we climb up the tech tree. And the 5-minute Cyber Core on the other side as well. Both these players. Now the tree took a while to grow. We had to plant some cannons and depots first, but we're getting there. The 5-minute cyber core.
Your dedication
Thank you very much.
will be rewarded.
More gates on the way as these zealots stand by, guarding an honor guard for newly trained and minted zealots that do have +1 attack. We will have to see. Another base on the way, 25 workers to 31. They're working their way up. Will we see a scan? A couple idle SCVs waiting for their next task. And a third base from GoTime. Third base before starting Warp Gate. This is a bold move. We're going to have to see how if it works out for him. A mothership core is on the way. He has some core values. But this... Now, since Cyanide does not seem to have any intentions of moving out of his base at any point in general, I have a feeling that the third base is going to be okay. Alright. The Zealots have completed. No Warp Gate yet. Now, we can't be 100% sure GoTime knows what Warp Gate is. This is important information. Just like Cyanide, on the other hand, well, what we need here, what we really need, as he builds the depot ring, is an engineering bay. I think he's severely lacking. If I look at this build, I have to be critical. I have to be critical. There's a lot to criticize, but I think the most important thing is the severe lack of engineering bay. We need those turrets. We need those planets. Oh my God! The Bronze Whisperer, an engineering bay, and then an armory as well. He understands me. And the engineering bay is on the way. GoTime has set up his third. No probes mining and no cannons yet, but we'll get there. As 0 resources have been lost. The record we have is 10 minutes and 30 seconds before the first kill. Will we break that record today? Now, while nothing is happening, so much is happening. No warp gate. 4 more gateways. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're playing like it's 1998. On the other side, a single medevac, plenty of tanks, marines. No stim yet. Alright. As GoTime continues to build up. He has no other tech buildings. He has the cyber core, but he has yet to build anything that would require a cyber core. Well, I take that back. I stand corrected. He has a mothership core. Alright, more depots on the way. Cyanide building up that supply. It's taken him a while to get here. But now that he's here, that's a lot of tanks, a lot of marines, a medevac. 4 more depots, but he's actually starting to be able to spend his money. Neither player has any hotkeys for their units. Hotkeys are for chumps. They're, they don't want to make it too easy on them. Alright, so neither player opting to use control groups. So we'll have to see if this does indeed get out of control. Another cyber core on the way. You never know when you're going to need a backup. That's a decoy cyber core. He thinks he killed the cyber core. Not going to be able to get stalkers. Here's the real mind game. The 4D fucking virtual reality backgammon that he's playing on Cyanide right now. Think about it. If you kill his cyber core, he'll think you can't even make any more stalkers. Now here's the fucking key. He didn't make stalkers in the first place. Who is the loser here now? Who just got bamboozled? It wasn't GoTime. 2 adepts. Two adepts on the way. He did get a Twilight Council. 2 stalkers on the way. I take it all back. I'm sorry. We're at the next level. Obviously, Cyanide has already thought that through. He's already thought that through. So, GoTime taking it to the next level. He's reached escape velocity. He has gone into orbit. He's seen the world and he's found its flaws. He came back down and brought us this build. We're going to get +1 air weapons and armor queued up for the mothership core, of course. the core of your strategy, and +1 armor for the gateway units, and believe it or not, also warp gate. As well. We have 53 workers to 45. We're almost at the record, 10:30. 10:30, and neither player technically knows where their opponent is or what they're doing. 10:30 is the record. This is going to break the... Well, Cyanide is moving out. But at this point, we are poised to smash the record. It shouldn't even be in the same category anymore. No rush. 10 minutes. Give me 20 or get the fuck out. As we go for another final one. Cyanide is moving out. 10:30. We have now broken the record. There have been no agreements. They have... Well, Cyanide said GLHF. GoTime. Not dealing with that shit. When will first blood be drawn? The Liberators. They're going into the main. 10 minutes and 55. The Liberators will be freed from their prison. That's a lot of Marines and tanks. This is looking very scary. If he sieges up those tanks in the right spot. Cyanide taking an alternative angle here. Okay, he's going towards the front. The cannons stand tall, but are they tall enough? I don't think 3 cannons will bear the brunt of this. Charge is on the way. +1 armor. That will give them 1-1. He has yet to siege the tanks. He's going for the Nexus. The Zealots come down. He's no, he's target firing. He's microing. He's microing. But will that be the death of him? Cyanide trying to come up the ramp. The tanks still on siege. He's right-clicked past their lives for ire. The Zealots will hold. No overcharge yet. The Mothership Core with +1 air weapons. He's targeting the Nexus. He can't get up to the high ground. He'll get the Nexus. But the tanks are falling. So much has gone down. The probes transferred through the line of battle. There are civilian casualties. There's a lot of casualties on either side. He's trying to target down. The right clicks are there, but the units are not. The tanks will fall, and GoTime will hold. A nail biter. Just an incredible exchange. We got High Templar being produced. GoTime. It seemed like the odds were stacked against him. It seemed like he didn't have the position. He didn't have the army. But what he did have was hopefully no mouse so his units don't right-click and do what his opponents did. Alright. Warp Gate has completed, though I doubt he remembers it. So, I mean, it's worked out thus far. If it ain't broke, why do you need to fix it? Yeah, let's go to the GoTime Action Cam. 29 APM brought to you in beautiful 1080p HD by Kodak. Alright. 10 years late and $10 short. Kodak. Pretend like that Moran name still means anything. Alright, what are we doing now? The probes. He scrolls up to the goal. Scrolls back down. I'm not sure he has the hydraulics turned on. This seems like a manual here. You gotta, of course, everybody knows you gotta have the hydraulic scroll wheel in order to scroll fast enough. We're still on the camera. Anyway, we gotta get those cannons produced. Okay. Another cannon. Alright. 0 APM as we discuss and we think about our next move. And a fleet beacon. Of course. Alright. Now, the Cyanide Cam. Once again, brought to you by Enron. Mistakes were made.
SCV ready.
He's rocking out at 45 APM. Nearly 1 action every single second. Gonna queue up 5 more tanks. 4 more medevacs. Gonna invent a reactor. Need some more depots.
SCV ready.
More Marines. The concept of multiple production facilities is just seems like a waste of money.
Upgrade complete.
Of which, well, he doesn't have much, but GoTime does indeed. Alright, speaking of GoTime, back down to 0 APM, we'll have to see. The fleet beacon is complete. The robotics bay as well. This tech tree is branching out in every direction. We have the shield upgrade, unfortunately unpowered by the assault of the tanks. The Pickett's tank charge up the ramp. Ill-fated and ill-executed, but valiant nonetheless is their storm. There is no storm for all of these High Templar. They've got a lot of energy in the bank. They've drank their Red Bulls, but they don't have storm. So that is unfortunate. But Cyanide with another assault. Will round 2 be more successful? Has he learned of siege mode? Has he whipped out his Prima strategy guide? We'll have to see. GoTime with 63 probes, though we're not sure how many are mining. Even an SCV to lead the charge. The Archons will be morphed. Another attack is coming in. He's gonna try to breach the ramp. He's going up. The A move is doing good. Oh, the target fire! The Archon's power overwhelming! The Medivacs will be obliterated, annihilated, eviscerated, eradicated. He picks up and immediately loses the tanks. The target fire coming out from both sides. One Templar never wanted to be here. He was 2 days from retirement. The tanks will break through. But another round of charge lots will halt the line! He's trying to break up the ramp, but they're just too large! And the charge lots will stream down. He's trying to right-click, but unfortunately somebody buttered up his touchpad, which he is using voice control to control. Spilled a little bit too much Mountain Dew onto the mouse. Makes it pretty difficult. And GoTime, for the second time, will hold. And did not lose a... He's somehow only 2 probes throughout this entire exchange. 2 probes have died. 2. Probes were just going about their business. 200, nearly 200 total supply of armies clashed on this ramp. But they went about their business and will continue to do so. Long distance mining from these Vespine gas geysers, alright? That's grit right there. Alright, 2 disruptors and 2 carriers without graviton catapult are in production. Now disruptors, this could be a game changer. We've seen how these fights have gone so far. He's already disrupted himself enough. What happens when his Protoss opponent decides to do so? Looks like 6 probes will be pulled for a new construction project of 2 Nexi on the western side. A Colossus is on the way. The shield upgrade still remaining unbuilt. But Cyanide continuing to mass up. Probes stand by, waiting to be given their marching orders. Still kind of sick from WizCon. We got more carriers on the way. He's building up an incredibly strong force. I don't think he actually has. There are 4 Zealots, 1 Colossus, 2 carriers, 2 Disruptors, and a Mothership Core against 28 Marines that do not have stim or combat shields. Tanks which don't realize they have siege mode, and Medivacs on suicide missions. As we have a triple expand coming out from GoTime, connected by the pylon power fields. Of course, you have to be within range. We're going to be going up to, I believe this will be 8 Nexi, of which he is mining from 2 of them. Alright. The warp gate research has completed, but it has yet to be utilized. As we see, 2 rounds have passed, and Somehow GoTime has survived him, but Cyanide, he's getting even closer to that 200 marker. But does the number actually matter? Ramps seem to be his natural enemy. Alright. And as we continue, there have been some massive clashes. But huge moments of silence. Time for reflection as the pylon perimeter will be constructed. That nexus almost perfectly where it's supposed to be. Not quite, but almost. As the cannon outposts will be created. Now, cannons not known for their effectiveness against 200 supply of Terran with siege tanks. But right now, GoTime understands. His name is GoTime. You know he's a man of action. Approximately 27 per minute. None right now. But a man of action. And he doesn't let his dreams remain consigned to being memes. No! He's going to build these pylons, he's going to build these cannons, and he's potentially going to build a victory. It's now 200 supply for Cyanide. He's got money in the bank. Let's go to the Cyanide action cam. Once again, brought to you by Enron. And we'll have to see how he executes this attack. We're gonna watch it from Cyanide's perspective. On the other side in the production, we see GoTime getting anion pulse crystals for the Phoenixes, which he does not own. Gravitic drive for the Warp Prisms, which he has not built. And +1 shields from the Forge, which has been unpowered for the better part of this game. Alright. Cyanide with 1 hotkey, 98 units, 11 tanks, 10 medevacs, 76 marines, 222. No stim, no combat shields, but a dream. He's gonna go right up the gut. Anything else? He's a man of direct action.
Vespine Geyser exhausted.
He doesn't mess with alternative strategies. He doesn't want to go for expansions. He wants to go for the throat. And will he be able to finally break the ramp? He's made it up the ramp. He's made it further than he's ever made it before. We're getting closer. The gateways are under fire. Does GoTime have what it takes to defend the Nexus target? What does GoTime have? The base is crumbling. The disruptors don't quite do it. Three carriers and 1 Colossus. He will target 1 carrier. He will target the others. And this time, GoTime. Okay, Cyanide. He sees another base. He will get distracted from taking out the production. What does GoTime have left? He has, in the Structures tab, 7 Nexi, 0 gateways, 2 cyber cores, 2 stargates, 2 robos, 19 cannons, and 1 carrier, which will be left unmolested by Cyanide. You know, I just now realized, technically his name is Cyiande. But much like his micro, it just seems like his spelling skills are not entirely perfect. As the carrier continues to tickle the Marines, and Cyanide will incidentally kill some of the interceptors. So Cyiande moves down to 1 of the 6 remaining Nexi. Is that the right number? 5 remaining Nexi. But the cannon perimeter will keep him distracted. He's still near. We got gateways being rebuilt I guess, oh, okay, over here. The Terran ball will continue to roll around. It has a lot of inertia to it. 0 APM for GoTime. When will GoTime be? We're at 0. He's had a stroke. Okay, we're back. He's back. He does have Warp Gate done. There's another... He still has his Robos and Stargates. Cyiande was kind enough to leave those to him. He still has a Robo Bay. A Fleet Beacon. He does not have any units the pathing. Oh, the pylon! The pylon! The traffic jam! They're trying to get down. They can't get past. The pylon finally taken out. The most dangerous enemy. 2 phoenixes with range. 2 immortals. Plenty of gates in production. GoTime has money. Cyanide continuing to work. GoTime has mined out of most of these bases. Thankfully, his natural remains unmined. Of course, he lives by the family motto, never rebuild a Nexus. Weird family motto, but it's been passed down for generations. What? What? The hero. Not the hero we deserve, but the hero we need right now. I walk through the shadow of the Valley of Death. And he comes out the other side to... no one knows. The cannons taking out the medevacs. He's going for the Templar Archives. He picks up into the medevacs. I don't know about that call. He's right-clicking on the medevacs. I'm not sure if that's intentional. But the medevacs will hold most of the army. Graviton Catapult is on the way. For his 1 hero carrier. It did survive. It has 7 kills. Probes will be taken out. But a lot of army is being built. And a lot of the army is in limbo right now. It's in purgatory. It's in those medevacs. Where are the units? Here come the Phoenixes. Here come the Phoenixes. Now, will he actually be able to take out the medevacs? He's target firing. A full medevac goes down with 8 men inside. Another one. 16 have fallen. The Phoenixes going almost untouched. He's trying to target through a medevac. That one didn't have any units in it, but so many units. They loaded into the lifeboats, but the lifeboats sank immediately. The cannon's doing so well. Another medevac. He's trying to target down the far Phoenix. Another... no! Okay. The medevacs will survive for now, but more Phoenixes on the way. The Immortals are coming down. Immortals known for their effectiveness against Marines. Another full medevac is taken out of the sky. Cyanide is bleeding men left and right. He's down to 3 medevacs as well. No stim, no combat shields. 2-2 upgrades. But where are the units? We got a wing of Phoenixes coming across. The hero probe has mined some golden minerals and will return them home and tell of a new world where they can rebuild Nexi and actually have income. The Phoenixes will take out every single medevac. A single immortal will brave the action here. Most of the army alongside it, Cyanide only building a single tank at a time here. The supply is starting to even up. We're not sure how. We're not sure why. The Chosen One! He once again walks through the valley and once again will find salvation. He cannot die. This probe is the Chosen One. The long distance mining. As his story continues, while that legend has it, while that probe lives, GoTime will never surrender. He cannot die. While Probius, the chosen probe, continues to mine from the far reaches, unknown lands of gold bases. The tanks will look very angrily at the Zealots and Immortals hitting them, but angry looks don't do much. What? Has not rebuilt? Are you kidding? There's no Nexi? The Chosen One. Is it time to rebuild civilization? They have taken every Nexus on Ire. But this is not just your destiny. This is not your story. This is not some sort of recollection. These are not your memoirs. This is your Odyssey as he rebuilds. Unfortunately not with this probe. And GoTime is within 10 supply. Don't ask how. Don't ask why. Just look at the supply. As the Zealots, I don't even know, the first Hellion ever produced will immediately be sliced to pieces. The tanks, can he actually, he can't get out of the factory with that tank, right? Like, he has to move the tanks. He can't build more Marines because the Marines are blocking every exit. If only he had stim or combat shields or an A key. But unfortunately, that tech lab was dead on arrival. Cyanide he's pulling the boys to a fresh base. Next site will be re-expanded. He broke his family's motto of never rebuild a Nexus. He realizes the times are dire. The Protoss face extinction. I literally think he can't get a tank out anymore at this point. The tank... What? The Chosen Probe. Can I hotkey? The Chosen Probe with his golden minerals will not be the one to rebuild the Nexus. He's above that. That's not his destiny. As Cyanide now mining from a new base, he is lifted over. Another Nexus on the way. The Protoss Scourge continues to re-expand across Odyssey. And... well... tanks a lot. Oh, and it pops out. All right. There we go. Cyanide. Nope. Has a lot of trouble with that right click. Of course, when you're playing on a trackpad, during an earthquake, it's hard to micro. With mittens, which are very hot. Unfortunately, this base has already been claimed. The Nexus will not be able to be built. The game will go on. We're 31 minutes and 45 seconds in, and while Cyanide has maxed out several times, we still do not have a clear victor. Not while the Chosen Probe survives. GoTime with a crack army of 3 carriers, 2 Phoenixes, 6 Immortals, and 11 charge lots.
Yes. Just as I deserve.
Bro, unsleeve hairs.
Thank you. Alright. The tanks and the Marines will... they run the gauntlet. But at the same time, the Zealot harass is happening. Workers will actually be killed. Well, actually, I think he incidentally killed some on the other side. But GoTime has re-expanded. Are we going into, dare I utter the words, what is this? A base trade. The Zealots will slice through Cyanide's base. He has money. He has 5,000 minerals and 2,100 gas in the bank. His production is as of yet untouched. But GoTime is moving quickly towards it. Alright. The tanks waiting for their opportunity to shoot at the Nexus, but mostly the Marines will get it. GoTime still putting things together. At some point, Cyanide's army needs to die. The Marines will not be microed, therefore will do much better than they've done this entire game combined. The Orbital and the Hairdryer will be the next casualties. Cyanide, if he loses his production, this could go the other way. The upgrades 1-0-1 to 2-2, but of course it comes down to how many units are fighting. Looks like 2 tanks are coming to respond. We have not yet seen any utilization of siege mode. I personally think I've forgotten that siege mode exists. But the tanks will be offered up and sliced away. GoTime is spread thinly throughout the map, but that hasn't stopped him before. Alright, we got 3 Zealots being produced from the main. He does have Warp Gate. But, of course, as it said in his family history. Never rebuild a Nexus. He's already broken that. But he will never break the traditions established decades in the past of never using Warp Gate. Of course, those traditions were established in 2003 during the Brood War, where Warp Gate didn't exist. But still, a modern interpretation maybe is a bit outdated, but don't question it. But the carriers are in the main. They're going for the depots. They're going for other depots. But coming up a ramp. Ramp's the natural enemy so far of Cyanide. He's going for the carrier. One carrier will stand by and will be taken out. Another carrier. Almost all the interceptors are already gone. The carrier will micro back. The interceptors are targeting the depot. Maybe not the highest priority. The tanks will lead the charge. Tanks not known for their anti-air capabilities. But the carrier will be taken from the sky. But what is GoTime building? We still have Void Rays, Stalkers, Zealots. Cyanide is rebuilding 2 Marines, which he can do for approximately 400 more Marines. Wait, I didn't do my math right there. Whatever. $6,900 minerals, 2,200 gas. This factory will be building all of the tanks. Well, but he rebuilds the tech lab. If only a distant dream. But the Void Rays and the Zealots are coming in. GoTime isn't giving it up just yet. It's 82 army supply to 119.
Yes, yes, yes. Just as I deserve.
Hi, Winter.
We'll see after. I have no idea how this is. This should have already ended. But, wow. The Chosen One continues to survive and stands by, inspiring the Protoss. GoTime shall survive. With the death of the Chosen One is the death of GoTime. It is foretold. A tank is taken out. The factories, a lot of the production. Are the Marines there? Is the Marine count even high enough? He has several Void Rays. They have 1-1. There aren't that many Marines in the mix. He's actually split his army, which means his forces find themselves in a less than ideal position. The Marines are trying to come up. They're blocked in by the tanks. The Void Rays will shoot them down from above. They don't even need to align their prismatics. Not that it would do anything anyways. But the Void Rays are going to be targeted down. He retargets onto a different Marine and then retargets back. Unfortunately, the Void Rays are going to be taken out. Damn. Having fun. I'm... Cyanide overcome with the intensity of this game. This epic story. This back and forth slugfest. Can't help but exclaim his excitement. Ignorance is bliss. Yep, GoTime shares the sentiment. But we're still at war. What happened to the Chosen? Where did he go? Is he mining? All of us are the Chosen One on this blessed day. But Cyanide will stand by. He will continue to build up. We've somehow mined out, not all, nearly all, but many of the minerals on this map. 3 Stalkers in production. Void Race. GoTime once again, he doesn't really have the gas. He has a single gas geyser mining. 19 probes, so barely better than what he started with. But another pylon. But Cyanide has almost reached that fateful 200 supply, and does GoTime. I mean, his army supply is actually 78, and it's not in terrible units with Immortals, Charge Lots, Void Race. Well, Stalkers are not going to help that much, but some Marines left behind. Some SCVs as well. A couple more Marines stranded in the distance. But we'll GoTime another Nexus. He's actually very technically mining off of more bases than Cyanide at this point, who is left with only a single orbital. Now, let's just do some theory crafting. If he loses this orbital and every single SCV, then he could be eliminated from the match. I mean, by killing all the buildings. Obviously, that's a big if, but a lot of this game has been a sufficiently large if. Alright, they will tread through the waters up onto the high ground. This ramp, which has been a past horror. Now, he's rebuilding in his main, his once and future. The mothership core survived! Ah! It will continue to survive! Oh. As the Marines come up the ramp, the mothership core trying to get in on the action has 6 kills. The target fire is that. No, the core finally falls. The main base will be gutted for the second time, the second sack.
Will be rewarded.
The Void Rays come up. The Void Rays fall. What is left? The Hero Carrier, which has seen it all. More target fire. The Fleet Beacon taken out. Is there any more production? Is there any more hope? There's nothing in production for Cyanide. Of course, he does have 193 supply. We will have to see. But the counterattack. 2 Phoenixes, not known for their effectiveness against ground units. The main base is gone. A single Immortal will angrily look at all the Terran structures, but refuse to fire. As he works his way to the corner. Alright, weapons are free. The cannon shall sing. There is nothing in production for either side. This base has been completely mined out. The Immortal will finish off the Marines. Cyanide scrambling back to defend. There are now next to no... Well, this is most of the production here of Cyanide. Now, no. Of course, he does have 147 army supply. He does have that. But if he somehow loses that 147 army supply, he will not have the production. Right now, Cyanide is not mining any minerals. He still has 7,800 minerals in the bank. But he's very technically not mining any minerals. Some more Marines gonna go down. He's target firing the Phoenix. Are they all target firing the Phoenix? Are they all target firing the Phoenix? Okay, no, they're not. They tried. But GoTime, he still has he has 29 probes, not all of which are mining. The entire army will offer tribute to this one Phoenix, which will take some time, but eventually take this. Oh no! Knocked from the sky into the waters below. Look at this fucking tree right here. It's pretty legit. Anyways, the last orbital will lift. GoTime will rebuild a pylon. As Cyanide, all he has to do is bring his fists together and lay the knockout blow. He has attempted 4, 5, 6, 7 times, but he hasn't quite sealed the deal. Are we going to rebuild barracks, or is that one? Nope. The production, of course, should come with. Unfortunately, only 5 mineral patches for the SCVs to share. As we see both sides once again retreat to their corners. GoTime given time to rebuild. Gateways. I don't believe he even has a cyber core right now. Cyanide, content to sit at 200 supply, having a blast. An absolute boop knee slapper of a game. His heart's beating, his hands are shaking, and that's why he right-clicks everything. Alright, that's what. That explains a lot. The Zealots will come in. The Zealots will eventually fall. 45 minutes. Cyanide once again inspired to move out. Doesn't want to go too far. Still no stim, still no combat shields. 3-3 is a distant dream. We have gravitic drive for warp prisms, which were never produced. Resonating glaives for adepts, which for the most part were never built. Plus, well, actually the rest are useful, never mind. And warp gate for the gateways, which never used it. I would say GoTime will be kicking himself after this game, but I'm not sure he's mentally capable of the realization. The carrier, without graviton catapult, will kill the Marines and get slapped out of the sky. Another Nexus. Is it time for the final stand? What we thought was the final stand 10, 15 minutes ago, and 20 minutes ago, and 30 minutes ago. Another Stargate in production. But Cyanide, for perhaps the final time, will be taking out some more. Well, the right clicks are not ideal. Medevacs full of units, letting the tanks do the job. The Zealots are on the way. He's targeting down the pylon. He's targeting down the Stalkers and another pylon. The Zealots are still wreaking havoc. A couple Zealots are just slaughtering. Okay. They're finally working their way through. The Mothership Core is targeted and brought down. And we've now seen the much better part of an hour. The gateways instead of the pylon, just making sure to eradicate everything that's left. Another Zealot will pop out, scream in fury, and its voice will be snuffed out in seconds. GoTime refuses to tap out. There is nothing in production for either side. It all ends with this. Cyanide with plenty of money in the bank. The next side count, the Nexus count, stands at 2. The probe count, 31. There's still a handful of units. He's going for the counterattack. He's going for the counterattack. Cyanide has rebuilt. He still has army at home. GoTime has been able to draw him back before, but maybe not this time. Yeah, the SCVs are leading the charge. The Immortal's blasting forward, as he will continue to work his way there. 4 Stalkers will take out a tank. 2 tanks. But he's lost control of his units, and they will be allowed to actually attack their opponents. The boys are pulled. The SCVs are off the line. So are the Marines, the tanks behind. The last Immortals, even a medevac full of SC... Okay. As Cyanide, GoTime, going to rebuild his gateways on the other side, but it has a grand total of 0 units that aren't probes. Has lost his final... Well, he re-expands to his natural. His once and future base. We've come quite literally full circle. 4 Zealots will harass. The probes stand in the corner. GoTime is going to fight to the last man. We've been at this for almost an hour, Cyanide, with a keen observation of time. A lot of Zealots, actually, here. He struggled with them before, but I think there might just be enough units. The target fires. Eventually, the Zealot count will be thinned. You're not going to give in, are you, Cyanide? Once again, acute observations. Good game. Or Zar Zim Zer. What? Speaking in tongues. Actually, I have more money than I thought. The classic. This is the next level. How long can you hold out? Well, the answer is 57 minutes. 57 minutes. As Cyanide kicks, screams, stumbles, and drunkenly vomits his way towards a victory. GoTime never could quite muster the forces he needed to deal with Cyanide. Now, Cyanide's forces may be suffering from a lack of strong leadership, and obviously had struggles of their own, but safety in numbers, and Cyanide had the numbers. I guess it was time to go out of the game. Zarzim Zar.